Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'll be explaining how to draft the basic bodice. So please, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to drop a beautiful comment. So let's get started. Okay, so what I have here, I've gone ahead to draft out my pattern. So what I did was that I divided my hip round divided by 2. Whatever I had, I added 3 inches. So that is how I got the width of this pattern paper, and I divided it into equal halves, and this is for the front and that is for the back. Then my starting point from the side, I have about 1 inch, and from the top I have about ½ inches. So I'll go ahead to mark out my neck width, which is 3 inches, and my shoulder length, which is 7 inches. And from my shoulder length, I'll be coming down by 8.5 inches, which is your bust round divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches will give you your shoulder length. So that is what I'm going to do, and I'll ensure the line what I have is correct, and then I'll go ahead to mark it down. So the next thing after this flat will be serving as my chest line. So the next thing after this, what you want to do now is to slant this, and I'll be slanting by 1.5 inches, and I'll slant to my neck width where I marked my neck width. So for my neck width, for the front neck width, I'll be coming in by 3 inches, and I'll use my pattern ruler to connect it. So after this, the next thing I'll just want to do now is to mark out my vertical measurement. So for my vertical measurement, my bust point. So for my bust point, I'm going to mark my bust point, mark my under bust, mark my half length, and the full scale, my full from my half length to my hip line. But I did not mark that here, so I just want to go ahead, mark that round, and so that it will serve as a guide while connecting with my ruler. So that's exactly which I've done here. So after drafting this, I would just want to go ahead to extend my bust point to the back, and also want to extend my chest line to the back. Then after this, I would just want to go ahead, after extending my chest line to the back, I would just want to go ahead to mark out and write out what I have. So this is my chest line, my bust point, and my under bust. So for the under bust, we are not extending it to the back, and the half length we are not also extending to the back, because the front half length is different from the back half length. So the next thing I will want to do right now is to mark out my nipple measurement, which is also known as the bust span. So you just go ahead to mark out your bust span measurement. So I'm going to be marking mine to the end, and after that I want to use my straight ruler to connect it. And after connecting, the next thing I'll be doing is my waist dart. So for my waist dart, I'll be going in by 3/4 inches, like 0.75, and I'll be extending down. So for this, for my half length, I'm going to mark 8 inches down. So for this pattern, it did not really cover, so I used 7.5, but ensure that you mark your actual waist to hip measurement, which is 8 inches. So I've gone ahead and I came up by 1 inches while connecting the waist dart. So the next thing I want to do now, I'm going to go ahead to do my armhole measurement. So I got the midpoint and I came out by 3/4 inches, which I'm going to use my pattern ruler to connect. And after that, I will want to measure my bust round divided by 4. So whatever measurement I have, I'm going to mark it down there and go ahead to connect with my pattern, curved pattern. So the next thing we are doing after here, I'm going to mark my round measurement round. So for the waist, I'm going to mark my waist divided by 4, then plus 1.5 inches, which is for the dart. Now go ahead to connect it to my bust point, and for my hip line round, I'm going to mark my hip round divided by 4, whatever I have. I'm going to go ahead. I just use my curved ruler to connect it, but you could actually use a straight ruler. And that's it. So the next thing we'll be doing is the side dart, but I don't know, I did not do the side dart immediately, but I will still show you how to go about for the side dart. So we'll be coming for the back measurement, and for the back measurement, so I'll be starting with marking out. So I would just want to mark out my neck width, which is 3 inches, same thing we did with the back, and my chest line 7 inches. And after marking that out, I want to come ahead to mark out my chest line and my shoulder length on my chest line, extend the line. I want to draw a straight ruler. So for this part, after marking all these parts, what you want to do next now is to do your shoulder slant. So before then, I'll be coming down for my neck depth by 1.5 inches, and I'll use my pattern ruler to connect it. I don't know, I'm always confused when using this pattern ruler on this part. So just like as I placed this pattern ruler on this, that's how you're going to go ahead for your neck width. And next thing we want to do is our shoulder slant. So for shoulder slant, I'll be coming down by 1.5 inches. And after connecting my shoulder slant, I'm going to get the midpoint here and go out by 0.5 inches. Use my straight pattern ruler to connect it. And after using my straight pattern ruler to connect it, I'm going to mark out my bust round divided by 4. And also use my pattern ruler to connect it, my curved pattern ruler to connect it. So after this, we want to go ahead to mark out our vertical measurement for the back part. So for the back part, don't forget that the half length for the back part is actually shorter than the front. So for me, my back half length is 14.5 inches, which is about 1.5 inches shorter than my front half length. So ensure to measure your back half length so that it helps to avoid zip bulging when you do this way. And then after this, I just want to go ahead to mark out my waist to hip line and my waist to hip measurement, so which I did for the back. So I don't know, from this pattern you should see that the back is shorter than the front. So after this, from my hip line, I'm going to go in for my zip slanting, which I came in by 0.75 inches. After coming in by 0.75 inches, I use my pattern ruler to connect it, just as you can see me do here. And next thing, from that point where I had gotten, I just went ahead to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'll go ahead to connect it down. After connecting down, the next thing we want to do now is our waist dart. So for the waist dart, I'll be using the same thing I used for the front, which is 0.75 inches, and I will just want to go ahead to connect it. So at this point, I think the back bodice is actually done. So because I'll be coming up here by 1 inches, and also from the hip part, and also use my pattern ruler to connect it. And after this, I'll just want to mark my round measurement. So for my hip, sorry, not my hip part, for my waist, because of the dart, I'll be marking my waist measurement plus 1.5 inches. And again, for the hip line, I measured what I had for the front and I marked it at the back also. So for here, I just want to go ahead and connect the lines together. So at this point, we're done with the back basic bodice. So this is how to drag the basic bodice, and if you want to sew any other thing, you could actually manipulate this into whatever thing you want to get. So this is the front, the back. And please, if you have gotten to this point of this video, I will encourage that you please like, subscribe, and please also don't forget to drop a beautiful comment. I will appreciate having your comments. So the next thing I want to do, if I forgot to put the side dart in the front, so which is what I want to go about and go to do now. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting the midpoint of my shoulder length, and whatever I have there, I will just want to go ahead to connect it to my bust point. So after connecting to my bust point, I'm actually doing this not for the basic design. I want to use this pattern to do other things. So after connecting that, so the next thing I will do is to mark out my side dart here. And what I am having for my side dart is 1.5 inches, which is the difference in the front and the back length. That is going to serve as a side dart. And so this is the end. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a beautiful comments. Thank you.